Welcome to another edition of Slasher Smackdown. I'm your host, Brian Corgio, here as always with my partner in crime, Greg Palmer, to hunt down some of the world's most legendary serial killers.
We're here today in beautiful Monterey, California, on the historic Cannery Row to hunt down one of the most bizarre slashers, the Cannery Row Claw.
The story begins right here at the site of the old Del Mar Cannery.
On November 25th, 1936, an electrical fire destroyed the Del Mar, one of the largest canning operations on Cannery Row.
The fires also destroyed the Pacific Biological Laboratories next door, trapping famed scientist Edward Doc Ricketts inside. A Cannery Row worker by the name of Wallace Harlow came to Doc's rescue that night, but was badly burned and lost one of his arms.
Doc Ricketts rebuilt the lab and used his biological expertise to graft a living crab claw onto Wallace. It was a marvel of science, but Wallace soon found that life wasn't easy with this new appendage. He was constantly ridiculed by the townsfolk and eventually lost his job at the newly rebuilt Del Mar Cannery.
Now this is where it gets weird. People in the community started turning up dead, their bodies clawed beyond all recognition. These grotesque murders continued on and off for the next 20 years until the collapse of the fishing industry in the 1950s. The collapse is often attributed to unfavorable oceanic conditions, overfishing, and competition from other species. But some articles claim the Cannery Row Claw had a lot to do with it.
Around 1955, the killings stopped entirely, and today you'd be hard-pressed to find anyone who believed they happened at all.
Well, let's see what the locals have to say about it.
Have you ever heard of the legend of the Cannery Row Claw?
Yeah, I've heard of it.
And do you believe it?
Nah, that's bullshit.
Always was pretty sure it was just an easy out for most people to blame a mythical creature on the many deaths and disappearances that have taken place at Cannery Row.
I haven't thought about that in 30 years. Yeah, there was a story that my grandfather used to tell my sister and I when we were kids, and it was creepy. That freaked me out.
No, wait a minute.
Oh, come on. You haven't heard of it?
No, there's no such thing.
Everybody
Come on.
knows. You know, look, when I moved to Monterey, I heard about it. That back in the day when the canneries were going down there,
Yeah.
there was a mass murderer called the Cannery Row Claw. The Claw of Cannery Row? Cannery Row Claw?
I've never heard
Everybody heard of it.
So you ladies have never heard of this legend?
Well, yes, I have, but I was a kid when that happened, and I really don't want to talk about it.
So you're telling me that the Cannery Row Claw actually existed?
Yes, yeah, I remember that.
The Cannery Row Claw is an old wives' tale. There is absolutely no evidence to suggest he ever existed.
Well, what about claims that the city covered up the killings and destroyed police reports in order to polish their image and keep the tourist industry alive?
No comment. We're done here.
Oh, the Claw was real, all right. Kids in the 40s even had a song about it. Dig into the history of this town deep enough, and you'll find things that nobody wants you to know about. But yeah, the Claw was real. He was here. Might still be here.
So did the Cannery Row Claw actually exist? Is he still lurking in the back alleys of Cannery Row waiting for his next victim?
To answer those questions, we need you.
Update, July 2017. Once again, bizarre murders are occurring all over the Cannery Row district by someone calling themselves the Cannery Row Claw. Monterey police and city officials have no leads. We at Slasher Smackdown recently hired a private investigator by the name of Max Miggins to look into these recent killings. Unfortunately, Max disappeared 3 weeks ago. His last known whereabouts were the Holmes Hotel, which coincidentally just opened on the site of the old Del Mar Cannery.
What's Holmes Hotel? It's an escape room unlike any you've experienced before. Your contribution to this project will make it possible for you and your friends to visit the hotel as our personal informants. Find out what happened to Max and hopefully reveal the identity of the Cannery Row Claw.
So who wants to solve an 80-year-old murder mystery and put the smackdown on this local legend?
We'll see you at the Holmes Hotel.